This lesson is about strategies for solving all different kinds of equations, such as linear equations, quadratic equations, power equations, and polynomial equations. So, what's linear pattern equation? Make sure your variable with the first power. That means if you have any variable you're looking for is to the first power, then we call this is a linear pattern. For the linear pattern, keywords will be isolate the variable on one side. So isolating the variable on one side of an equation. Then we have power pattern equation. Only x to the nth power in that equation. Or you have x minus 3 square, this kind of pattern as variable. Then we call that equation is a power pattern equation. Then keywords is still isolating the variable and then do nth root both sides. But make sure if it's even roots, you have to add plus or minus. For example, if you do the x to the fourth power equals 7, then you got to do fourth root both sides. Do not forget plus or minus before that nth root. So your x equals plus or minus fourth root of 7. Then we have quadratic pattern equation. Make sure you have x squared or x in that equation. And the constant c could be 0. Then we also have called the twisted quadratic pattern equation. If the equation you can written as this pattern, then we still count this kind of equation as quadratic pattern equation. Then the first step, make sure equal to 0. Then solve by factoring or quadratic formula. Quadratic formula can solve any kind of quadratic equations. Last one is about polynomial function pattern. Still, you need to make sure it's equal to 0 first. Then solve by factoring. So when you solve any equation, you decide what pattern it is. Then use the keywords like isolating, or is equal to 0, or is take even roots both sides, you need to add plus or minus. Use these strategies while you're solving equations. Before going to do the specific equations, let's talk about equal sign and inequality symbols in the equation or inequalities. In the equation, we have equal sign. For inequality, we have inequality symbol, like a greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. So we call this one equal sign or inequality symbol, we count as this river. And any river, we have two opposite sides. So keywords over here is opposite. In other words, if I have negative 3x on the left side, I want to move to the other side. I need to change the sign into positive 3x. if I have negative 7y and on the right side of equation, if I want to move to the other side, I need to change into positive 7y. If I have 8 on the left side, I want to move to the right side, I need to change into negative 8. So remember, for any equation, if you want to move from one side to the other side of the equation, you need to change the sign. So we write down like this: cross the river. Remember, you need to change the sign. Cross the river, change the sign. Now let's solve the first equation. First of all, you need to check the pattern for this equation. It's a linear pattern. For the linear pattern, keywords is isolating. So isolating the variable on one side, number the other side. I want to move all the variable to the right side. So I will move 2x to the right side. And then except variable, you need to move all other constants to the left side. So I move to the left side. Remember, cross the river, change the sign. So negative 8, I will get positive 8. Negative 5, I didn't move, so stay, minus 5, equals 6x, I didn't move, so I stay 6x. And 2x, I moved to the right side, so I need to change the sign. It's minus 2x. This step we call isolating the variable. So we combine like terms. You will get the 4x here. I will go the 3. Then I divide it by 4 both sides. Your x equals 3 over 4. You can move the variable on the left side. You will get the same answer. So let's go to question 2, solve for A. Then check what pattern for this equation. Since solve for A means A is a variable, we know A to the first power. That's why this is linear. So I want to move all the variable on the left side. So whenever you have A for that term, you need to move to the left side. So for negative AB, I move to the left side. Then for any term without A, you need to move to the right side. So I need to move negative 5B to the right side. Therefore, you will get that negative 7A plus AB equals 6C plus 5B. Change the sign for negative 5B into positive 5B. Negative AB change into positive AB. Then combine like terms. Yeah, we don't have any like term for the both sides. But since we solve for A, then you need to take A outside. In other words, we do the common factor is A. I take A outside. So you will get the negative 7 plus B. Then equals 6C plus 5B. Your goal for this equation is to get A equals. Therefore, you need to divide it by -7 plus B both sides. Then reduce. You will get the A equals 6C plus 5B over -7 plus B. This is the final answer. For number 3, this is a power pattern equation. Because we only have x squared both sides, then keywords will be isolating. So move all x squared to the left side or right side. I will move to the left side. So -8, I move to the right side. Then I will get the 5x squared minus 2x equals. Here's the +8 plus 7. Then you will get the 3x squared equals 15. Then you divide it by 3. You will get the x squared equals 5. Then you do the square root both sides. Since 2 is even number, so do not forget plus or minus. That's why your x equals plus or minus square root of 5. That's the answer. For number 4, x squared equals 5x minus 6. This is a quadratic pattern equation. So first step is make sure it's equal to 0. Change into ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0 pattern. And make sure a greater than 0 so that we can using factoring. Even for quadratic formula, when a greater than 0, it's easier to solve. Okay, so for number 4, you need to get equal to 0. Move everything to the left side, because in this way, x squared is a positive. The coefficient is a positive. So you will get the x squared. Move. Cross the river, change sign. So minus 5x plus 6. Then factor by using ninja x. I have 6 here, -5 over 1 over 1. So for 6, I can write down 1, 6. No, it's not equal to -5, so 2, 3. I get +5, so change the sign. You will get the -2, -3. Then the variable will be x. So bottom up, you can write down x minus 2, x minus 3 equal to 0. Therefore, your x1 equal to 2 and x2 equal to 3, because you make this equal to 0 and this one equal to 0. So for linear equation like ax plus b equal to 0, we know that x will be equal to -b over a. This is a very important formula for you to remember. When you solve any equation by factoring, and you can get the answer easily. Now let's go to number 5. Since you have x squared and x, that means this is a quadratic pattern. First step is make sure your equation equal to 0. So you want to move every term to the left side or right side. Then you need to analyze, because you want to get the a greater than 0. Therefore, if I move all the terms to the right side, I can make sure the coefficient of x squared is greater than 0. So I move 3x squared and then -7 to the right side. So I got here's 0. Then 6x squared minus 4x minus 6. Since I didn't move, those three terms stay the same sign. Then 3x squared I move to the right side, so I turn into -3x squared. -7 I turn into +7. Then I combine like terms. You will get the 3x squared minus 4x plus 1. Then you need to do ninja x. So 3 times 1 is 3, -4, over 3 over 3. So 3, you can get 1 times 3. Adding together is 4, but I'm looking for -4, so change sign. Got -1, -3. Then reduce, you will get -1 over 1. Variable will be x. So write down the factor will be 3x minus 1. Then I have x minus 1. Since the factors equal to 0, which means each factor will be 0, then your x1 equal to -1 turning into +1 over 3. x2 equal to 1. That's the solutions to this equation. For number 6, we call this will be power pattern, since you only have x minus 5 squared in this equation. You don't have other x. Then you need to isolating x minus 5 squared on one side. So you need to move -7 on the right side first. You will get the 9x minus 5 squared equal to 7. Then you need to divide it by 9 both sides. So you will get x minus 5 squared equal to 7 over 9. Then you do square root both sides. Do not forget that plus or minus. So you will get, let me move over here, x minus 5 equal to plus or minus square root of 7 over 3. Then I need to isolating this x because this is linear. So I move -5 to the right side. Do not forget change sign. So your x equal to 5 plus or minus square root of 7 over 3. You can write down the same denominator. This will be the final answer. That will be okay. But also, I can make the same denominator as this one is 3. So I have 5, I can say over 1, and then you can get the 15 plus or minus the square root of 7 over 3. Then this will be the final answer. Let's go to number 7. Solve for R. which means only r is the variable. So first of all, we know this is a power pattern equation. You need to isolate that r squared on one side. So 1 over 2, how can I get rid of this 1 over 2? Multiply by 2 both sides. Then how can I get rid of this theta? You need to divide it by theta both sides. In this way, I can isolate the r squared, and on the right side, I have 2a over theta. Then I do square root of both sides. This one, since r is a radians, that must be positive. That's why you don't have to put the plus or minus this time. Then r equals square root 2a over theta. For number 8, solve for theta. So for this equation, theta is the only variable, and that's the linear pattern. So you need to isolate theta on one side. How to get rid of 1 over 2? That's we need to multiply by 2 both sides. Then for r squared, you need to divide it by r squared both sides. Therefore, theta equals 2a over r squared. That's it.